This guy says, he says, I'm a vigilante. Now, I've got mixed feelings on vigilantes. I will admit that. If there's nothing in place, a system in place to care and protect the weak among us, I do feel we have the obligation and the moral obligation to take the matters in our own hands if we don't have the system in place to take care of it itself. Now, I understand there's going to be people that are going to disagree with that, and I say I don't believe that in all cases. You have to go case by case on that. And I am sure during the Boston Tea Party, they looked at them as vigilantes, you know, taking the law into their own hands. If the law is incapable of doing the morally correct thing, I believe we need to take personal responsibility. Now, if that personal responsibility calls for taking the law into our own hands, let it be. I say doing the right thing is not always easy. It's sure not always legal. So, but like I say, in general, being a vigilante, I would say not a good idea. He accused me of wanting to be like Charles Bronson, you know, but that's the movies. And some of that activity would be entrapment and setting people up and stuff like that. I'm not too good on that. I say I don't look for trouble. Now, if trouble draws me in, I take personal responsibility and do what I have to do. Vigilante, I wouldn't go so far to say I do that. I say even with my my wife's assassination, I was going to say I didn't take matters in my own hands. I don't want to say that because you see where I'm standing, don't you? So, but I say I haven't taken life. But like I say, sometimes justice comes in strange ways. So vigilante isn't really quite the way I would look at it. And I still have done everything the morally correct way. So, taking matters in your own hands, I don't know. That's not a good idea. While I'm on this, and I see I don't have that much time on it, I'll go on and add another thing he said. He says that I talk this talk, but when something happens, I'd be dialing 911. First thing, they don't have 911 down here. And right offhand, I can't remember any time I've ever dialed 911. There's been times I've come upon an accident and a car has been smashed, and on this one that I'm talking about now, Woman's head was the scalp was pulled up, and it was nasty looking. And she was in the front seat. She was trapped in the car. I didn't dial 911. I climbed in the back seat and took a towel and wrapped it on her head and helped put the pressure on there to keep everything still in there. You could smell the gasoline. The car was burning. Other people called 911, and there was people that were wanting to help, but I told them that she was trapped in the car, and so we needed help. So I said, I don't dial 911. I take personal responsibility. So, and I'm not saying everybody should be like that. I wish everybody would take personal responsibility. Yes, I do wish that. But like I say, some things are beyond our capabilities. But we're right back. If you take personal responsibility, your capabilities will improve in time. You can take on bigger and bigger challenges. So, this guy's in a dream world. He thinks everybody is so helpless that we can't take personal responsibility. Just dial 911. And I've said this. Dial 911. You're too stupid to handle it yourself. Get somebody with some kind of intelligence. Hold on. Get somebody that knows something. You're too stupid to do anything. So, and that's why I find some, especially government officials and, bureaucrats, what I talk about, bureaucrats, policemen, doctors, whatever. Like I say, when they treat me like I'm stupid and I don't know any better, it's a joke. I lose respect in them. That much you can say. If I don't like these people, I hate people, I don't hate nobody. Now, there are people I have no respect for. This is Mike. NoStressMike.com. Oh, one question this gentleman asked me. Well, it wasn't a question. Like I say, one of his statements was, I don't have the right to ridicule, and he's basically talking about police. I don't have a right to ridicule the police and bash them and say things bad about them unless I've been a policeman. That was his logic. If I haven't been one, I don't have the right to complain about it. And I responded in writing. And in writing, I told him, what was it? I've never been, I've never been a policeman. I've never been a government bureaucrat. I've never been a criminal. I've never been a politician. I've never been a doctor. And you realize these are all the occupations that you hear me say disagreeable things about. I don't praise these occupations. And he is saying that I shouldn't have the right to complain about it. And it was so funny because I wrote him and I told him about the same thing, and I said, not only do I have a right to complain about these people, these occupations, I have an obligation, a moral obligation, to say my feelings and back up what I'm talking about. Just not just talk right back to me. I'm not just a talk kind of guy. I have just reason for saying the stuff that I say, and I explain all these things in my videos. So even all those that I just talked about, I've made videos talking about the way they do things, the immoral acts that they do and stuff like that. I talk about it. And I say, I do feel like I have a moral right, the legal right. Communist countries, they can't say nothing about it. But I'm still a free man. And so I'm going to talk my piece. And also, I have an obligation to bring this up to people's attention. Hopefully, these occupations will police themselves, called doing the morally correct thing. Police themselves. Weed out the people that are immoral in their occupations. Change the way they do things, because, like I say, some of the things they do is immoral. So they need to be brought to their attention. I do. You don't like me bringing that to their attention? You'd make a good communist. And you don't think I have the right? That's why I arm myself. Not only I have the right to protect myself, I have the obligation to protect myself. The moral obligation and the constitutional obligation. And so, if you feel I don't, you're probably part of the problem. And I wish you would take personal responsibility and do the right thing. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.